Hello, wonderful people of the Switch community. What is going on? Even on the weekend, the news don't stop for this stellar system, so we're back with another 3-pack, and pack has an even more important meaning in this video. You'll see why in a second. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Wars. Jake and Gabe are here. 3 news stories, and I'll kick it off first with Jackbox Party Pack 1 and 2 coming to Nintendo Switch. They debuted Party Pack 3 earlier this year, and it is a fantastic fit for the Switch. We love playing some Trivia Murder Party. That was really fun, and they're bringing the OG packs to the Switch. They don't give an exact date, but on their Twitter, they say sign up for our email list to get early updates, and this will be nice to have even more party game options for the Switch. These titles utilize your phone or any other device, like an iPad or something of that sort, to connect in and play with your friends and family. Really fun games, highly recommended, and Party Pack 4 is releasing later this year, and this gives us good hope that that will launch simultaneously on Switch as well as all the other platforms. These are phenomenal games. Hopefully they'll come at a good discount price. There's been a lot of sales lately, and because they are a few years old, you would expect Party Pack 1 and 2 to come either as a nice bundle or as a discounted price. But keep your eye out for these. You can sign up for their email list on Twitter if you would like.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because they are like fun games to play with your family. So like now you don't need a TV. You can play them anywhere that you have Wi-Fi or internet. So you imagine like you could play these like if you had like a layover internet sitting in an airport with your family, you could play it there and just prop up your Switch. So I think it's pretty cool that they're bringing over more of these more like family board game type games to the Switch.
Is there anything of the kind that isn't Jackbox? Like, is there other games like this in the same like genre almost, like just mini game collections like this, or is this a Jackbox exclusive thing? Just curious.
PlayStation actually just put out a game that is similar in the sense that you do use a handheld device to connect in. I'm blanking on the name. I'll look it up right now. But it is something that I feel is going to become more popular. Jackbox sort of has the monopoly on that market right now, and utilizing the online integration so that people, if you broadcast it on Twitch, can play along. Like, they really are sort of the kings of that castle. But I expect to see more of this kind of stuff, especially on a system like Switch. It feels like it would be a great fit for more companies, more developers to try games of this sort.
Speaking of other companies, Bandai has a little bit more news for us on Dragonball Fighterz. So, speaking to website Shonen Games, producer Tomoko Hiroki has made a little bit of a statement here that has the internet in a little tiny bit of an uproar, at least on NeoGAF. When asked, there was an overwhelmingly insane support for a Nintendo Switch version of Fighterz. Have you seen the outreach, and is there anything you would like to say to them? And the producer, she says, in terms of the Switch version, we're currently working on Xenoverse 2 for the Switch, so we want players to first go there, and then we can talk about Fighterz. So she's holding Dragon Ball Fighterz hostage, Zach. That's basically what's happening. Saying, hey, go buy Xenoverse 2, and then we'll see about that other one. I don't like this move, but it makes sense. She doesn't want to throw like their current game that they have on the release calendar that's coming up pretty soon. They don't want to throw that under the bus and just say, hey, this other game that everybody really wants that looks way cooler, that's still coming, so don't buy that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's tricky.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a very business-focused response, and it's hard. Like, what's your answer to this question? Like you said, she needs to promote their upcoming game, and there's clear evidence that people are far more excited for Fighterz than they are for Xenoverse 2, even though those games were pretty well received, all things considered. I think the frustration here is that previously, back in June, she said that if fans show their interest, they would, be willing to bring over Fighterz, and there were petitions and a whole lot of support for that. And now, when asked, like, hey, you've seen all the support, kind of backpedaling and saying, well, we're focusing on this, and we'll get to that later. And so, again, I understand both sides of the coin. From the fan perspective, it's like, wait, we did what you said. How come you're not going to give us, some confirmation? But from her point of view, it's like, okay, I'm not going to say, yes, it's coming, forget about Xenoverse 2. So my hope in humanity is that they see it and they recognize it and that Fighterz is going to come, but that they just can't publicly endorse that because of the fact that they do have Xenoverse and they need to sell that, and they, want to support the game that's coming, like you mentioned, this year, rather than something that's coming next year.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, we do get Fighterz on Switch. Like, there has been enough of an, uproar is not the word, but there has been enough support from people, like indicating that they want it on Switch. So I do think it happens eventually. Sadly, it won't happen anywhere near day and date, but at least I feel like that this is something that will eventually happen. They're focusing on Xenoverse 2. Like you said, it's a very business-minded answer. So I don't know what else we could expect.
I just hope that one day Switch can get on a level where it's not, that it comes out at the end of the day or eventually we get the game on Switch. Like, I want it to be where it's on the same playing field as PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. But I don't know if or when that would happen.
I feel like that day will come mid-2018. I feel like games that were announced at E3 this year were being worked on for too long to really gauge the Switch success level. But now games that are beginning development or companies that are planning what platforms, you will start to include the Switch. So I do hope by mid next year, roughly 1 year after the Switch's inception, that you will start to see that parity in terms of release. But I feel like if we do get FighterZ, I feel like it could be one of the strongest and most fun games on the platform just because it was so cool at E3. It's going to look glorious on that Switch screen, and portable Dragon Ball Z is going to be awesome.
And for the third and final update, it's not about Dragon Ball Z FighterZ, it's about Squid Fighters. Splatoon 2, on Nintendo's YouTube channel, Nintendo Minute played some Salmon Run, and they started out on the map we all have seen, Spawning Grounds, but then they moved over to a brand new stage, Marooner's Bay, which one of our main concerns here at Switchforce was, is Salmon Run going to get repetitive because it's on the same stage, and are there going to be more stages, or is it just you can up the difficulty each time you play? And in fact, there are at least 2 stages here. Marooner's Bay is new and different. After watching the gameplay, it looks pretty similar in terms of structure to Spawning Grounds, which makes sense. They want to keep it. They have a formula that's working for Salmon Run, so they don't want to vary it too much. But there are some new, different pieces to the stage. There are some elevators that have little fans that you can, if you spray ink at them, they'll take you up like a lift, so you can get up to the higher points easier. And things like that, and there's some more dock appendages on the ground level, and different areas to explore. It's still the same theme. It's not like a totally different structure or anything like that. It's pretty much the same, where the middle area has a taller structure that you can run around on, and then around there's some more ground level beach areas and docks and things like that. But I think it's super cool that they have more than one map for Salmon Run, so it doesn't get super boring. You just have the same routine and go through the same motions every time you play. And they talked about there's like high tide, which limits your movement, and fog and nighttime and things like that. So, and then there's all the bosses that can come in. So there are a lot of varieties and variables that can be changed and altered each time you play Salmon Run, along with the stages now. So I think that it is definitely very fleshed out and will be super fun when it comes out.
Yeah, I wonder how this works. I mean, obviously super great that there are multiple maps that does assuage some fears of repetition there. I wonder if A, there are more than 2, and B, if they are tied to different days of the week. So if Salmon Run, say, is it's every other day, does it alternate between the first stage and then Marooner's Bay, and they just go back and forth, or is it okay, on Mondays it would be this map, on Tuesdays it would be this map, because it's set up sort of lore-wise, like, oh, the Squid Kids are going out and doing this, hunting or whatever. So I'm curious if it has sort of a lore tie-in, or how that works.
Well, what about like local play? Because local you can play whenever you want.
Right.
So and local you just pick your stage.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like in that Nintendo Minute, is that they were selecting it with that local Wi-Fi. But it is interesting, like, that it's a slight difference. As you mentioned, Jake, it doesn't look dramatically different, but hey, any change will be awesome. And it seems like the more and more we see of Salmon Run, a lot of the variety is coming from the different bosses and the different waves and how that all pans out. But yeah, new stages is something that will definitely add
pans, because the Salmonids have pans.
Beautiful. New stages will help a lot, especially 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months into Salmon Run. And I think it's something that also shows, hey, in their updates they could be bringing even more maps to this to expand upon.
That's what I was going to say. Will it be tied into DLC?
I would think so. Just to keep that mode fresh and to encourage. It's something also they could add different bosses, as that's a really big focus for that mode. So yeah, it's definitely a good sign. And I also like the idea that maybe there are some things in Splatoon 2 that we haven't seen, even with a direct dedicated to the game. Maybe there are some things to uncover when we do get the final full version.
Yeah, it's super cool, and it makes me even more excited to get my hands on it, or my tentacles on it.
If you grow tentacles, I will probably leave Switch Force. But let's hope that doesn't happen so that we can keep giving you the awesome news and updates. Thank you guys and girls for watching this video. Another 3-pack in the books. Let us know your take on Jackbox Party Pack 1 and 2 coming to Switch. Will you be picking those up? If you are understanding of Hiroki's comments on Dragon Ball FighterZ, or if you think it's kind of a bad move. Will we eventually get FighterZ? I hope so. Let us know your take. And then finally, a new map for Salmon Run. Does that get you more pumped about the 4-player co-op mode? Give us your thoughts in the comments down below. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and until next time, for myself, Jake, and Gabe, Switch Force out.